Welcome to the Menagerie. Hi, everybody. We're so glad you've joined us here in this helicopter-skied, digital VHS distressed 1994 vision of Gothic punk terror that we call Monster the Ravaging. My name is Philip, and in this almost World of Darkness system, I am still called the Storyteller, and I am joined by three of the meanest monsters, the elites who really control the city of New York City. Say, you are beneath us, monsters.
You are beneath us.
I'm not even going to digify
Monsters.
that to comment.
I like the idea that in that it's like to make that make sense, it's like, you're beneath us monsters, you know? Like us monsters are... So, how's everyone doing tonight?
Commas are important, you know?
You know, commas aren't just a river in Egypt. That's what I always say.
Yes.
I really like making that joke a lot, and a lot of people don't. The problem with that joke is that denial ain't just a river in Egypt is no longer a common enough phrase.
Yeah.
So sometimes people look at me like I'm really not making sense.
I feel like they're just in denial about it.
Yeah.
They're just swimming in the joke. That's the problem.
There we go. Is it Upper Nile? Blue Nile? So enough about the Nile.
I'm more of
Yes.
a fan of Crane Nile.
Crane Nile?
Niles Crane.
Nile's Crane.
Real long. It was a real long
The
walk.
Niles, I get it. Okay.
Ooh.
I get it. I understand what you were doing. Niles Crane. Yeah.
I don't.
It's Fraser Crane's brother.
Fraser.
That's what I thought, but I was too scared to ask. But I asked anyway.
Is the longest walk.
Sometimes
that
you
is.
have to be brave.
That is.
Sure, I love all the Niles.
I walked the entire length of the wall of China.
Joke.
This is a lot. Okay, so let's talk about this game that we're in, rather than anything that we've been talking about right now. My goodness. One thing I will ask. So Anna, you have not been here. We tried a rule change last week, and it resulted in some explosive events. How did you feel about the way we did Rage last week, Jed and Pierce, in which Rage is additive rather than a replacement for your to your pool? Did we like it? Did it seem that it was too much? What was
It
what
seemed
was
like,
we had-
in concept, it seemed like a good idea. In practice, it seemed pretty detrimental.
See, we had opposite reactions to this.
see.
I was like, I like this. I get to roll more dice.
Yeah.
My problem with Rage has nothing to do with whether they're additive or negative. It's just that they're cascading
Well, I do
guess-
think.
in terribleness.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask if maybe you could back it up with a little primer on Rage, because
Sure.
when I hear Rage, I think of Barbarian Rage because we never did the Rage in the one session I played.
Great point. Okay, so in this game, when you become angry through offense or bad news, or when you are literally harmed, you must roll to resist gaining a rage. In other words, your monstrous side begins to come out, your sort of inhuman, primal rage. You will click those rage boxes up at the top. When you have rage, you are sort of in a lot more danger of things kind of spiraling out of control. You must roll for every rage that is marked up, you have to designate one of your d10s and roll separately, or some d10s roll separately, as rage dice. And those rage dice, if you roll a 1 or a 10 on them, have a big new effect. The 1 means it is a spectacular failure and things go really bad. It's kind of like a crit, but much worse. And a 10 means a monstrous success, which means you will succeed, but you will succeed in a way that is either destructive or counterproductive or kind of kicks things. So for example, I think you might have been here when Pierce rolled a monstrous success on his rage, and he found something, but he was so intense about finding it that he threw a rock up in the air, and that knocked a wall over onto what he was looking at, that kind of thing.
Right. Yes.
So what we had been doing is to kind of make Rage, because Rage had been a little unappealing, just all downside to it. So to make it a little fun, we decided for a couple sessions to have Rage be something that does not replace your dice. You get to add it on top. So it's almost like you kind of do want rage because it's more dice, more chances to succeed, but also they're riskier successes. I think one thing we did talk about though, so maybe this could be a compromise. How much rage? I know Countess has no rage. How much rage does everybody else have right now?
None.
You have 3. Okay, Truman, and also I made the mistake that when you killed the witch, when you killed the head witch, you should have been able to clear one of your rages. So we should allow you to roll that retroactively. That... I cannot take back the amazing thing that happened, which I'm going to talk about in such detail when we do our recap of the session, because it was, visually speaking, it's my favorite thing that's ever happened in any game. But in terms of the rage, technically, it
was pretty incredible.
Very infrequently I'll describe stuff and I'm like, this is just like kind of fun and stuff. This, I was seeing it in my mind. Well, we're gonna get to it. Oh, it's the Claymore trampoline. The point is that I think what we maybe should do is have is avoid like rage spirals, is avoid a situation where having rage, so maybe you don't roll rage dice when you're getting rid of rage or to resist taking rage. Maybe we'll avoid because we've had that happen to you guys sometimes where you have a spectacular failure to avoid the rage. It's like, well, you got rage now. Maybe we can, I don't want to get into the death spiral of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If I can talk on a game structural level,
please.
I would think that because if I'm not mistaken, this is based off the vampire version of this, right? Where having rage has actual statistical benefits for you. Right?
Well, it is. I transferred it to be the rage. It is their hunger, and it tends to be a very big problem for them. It is having the hunger means that you break the masquerade and like drink someone publicly, and then you have to cover it up and stuff. So it is meant to be a massive problem.
Got you. I was just thinking, like, I thought the idea of like letting us get to add the rage dice to our roll was good, in that it does provide at least some kind of counter benefit for it, right?
Yes,
I'm not sure. I think personally, that is the approach. I'm not sure that is the solution, but I think that having a beneficial component of the rage is a good thing.
Okay, well let's leave it as extra dice. I think also Pierce was
the extra dice.
Pierce was like, the problem with the extra dice is that Ravaging monster we faced also had so many extra dice, and that was kind of
that is a real thing.
Let's just deal with that when you probably won't see it again this time. So let's keep rage as it is for now, and we'll maybe try to we'll maybe remove some rage from like we'll maybe remove rage as a thing that could compound the lack of success. That being said, Truman, so for the first time here, why don't you give me because you committed an act of destruction, do a resolve plus detect vibe roll. And without any rage benefits.
So I also don't get to add my rage dice.
You don't get to add your rage dice here, It's kind of we're leaving off the rage part of it.
2 successes.
2 successes. Go ahead and clear one of your rages. Now, obviously, you then really had some stuff to rage about after that happened, and let's go ahead and talk about it. So, Countess, since you left the menagerie to go back to a gala in town, as you said, taking Deputy Fraser and his helicopter with you, Johnny, Truman, and Gaius flew in Gaius's big petroleum helicopter piloted by Harrison into the forest. They found some tracks they had to rappel down on cool lines and or fall into 3-point stances. They went through. Gaius summoned some frogmen because apparently he can summon some sea stuff. I think we don't really totally know what that's all about, or maybe you guys have done it. He sent the frogmen and their frogs in to scout out a lodge where there was a party going on, which was regrettably full of witches, who are like another known group in kind of these under circles. You guys know witches. And Gaius was very afraid, thanks to a spectacular failure, in fact, that these witches were highly connected, so he really didn't want to like get into a fight with them and everything. However, your friends did move in when the witches produced a bedraggled man in ragged clothing who you all were like, I think that it might be a monster. And the witches were planning on doing some sacrifice to this monster. So you all busted in, or not the countess, but the rest of the menagerie busted in, tried to negotiate. The witches were like, we're gonna put hexes on you if you lie to us, but if this is your person, if this is somebody who is from your menagerie under your control, we'll let you have them. And they were like, it's not, but we still want them. They were this close to making a deal where they could interrogate them and then the witches would use them to whatever purpose, but they just didn't want to commit to that. So instead, Johnny shot the witch and it was blocked by magic, and then stuff got intense. So our hero. Oh, also the witches were accompanied. I guess we should talk about Luca. Luca is a European, maybe French, maybe Swiss, somewhere in there, and she
fucking
is a
bitch. Is what she is.
She is a very intense. She is a arcane, magical, mystic mercenary who has enchanted guns that shoot like ammunition that kind of messes with you when you do it. And so basically, a fight broke out. Two of the witches attacked with knives. The main witch set up some kind of barrier. Gaius very cleverly filled the barrier that he had with seawater at high pressure, which he can do from magic, so that's, again, new information. The witch and the captive guy who is still unconscious, they were swimming around in there. Truman got into a very intense gunfight with Luca, and it was like really cool, like running on the walls. Some white doves who happened to be nesting in there, they started flying around as they were both, shooting each other with multiple guns, etc., etc. Johnny managed to get up to this boundary and reach in and pull the man out. But the man suffered true damage from the power of the boundary, which they'd already seen happen to one of the witches who Johnny threw into in the first place. The point being, this man on the ground began to transform into a monster, and it was revealed that he is the monster who was ravaging in Gravestown. But he ravaged very hard, turning into a 12-foot massive Hulk-like horned and tailed devil monster. He easily ripped apart all of the frogmen who Gaius sent to attack him. Johnny, electing to not mess with that, ran away. Truman, I think, shot him a couple times, which made him angrier. Gaius then called for Harrison to shoot the place with the missile launcher that his civilian helicopter isn't supposed to have. Meanwhile,
great call.
Truman and Luca, here's where things get so good. Truman and Luca running on the wall, or Truman's like running on the walls. Luca's shooting back at him. Truman goes for her. She slips under him, shoots him in the stomach to the point that he actually has taken a lot of damage. She then backflips out of a stained glass window in this lodge down a ravine as Truman hits the ground. Truman becomes enraged that he was bested like this. So he kind of doesn't even care about this monster. He must go after her, and he leaps out of... He tears his mask off, showing his scarred thing. He says some beautiful, operatic phantom-like quotes. I think the specific thing you said there was, close your eyes and let the music set you free. Or no, you said that when you started the shoot. The point is, he then jumped out of the window to follow her, forgetting the menagerie, forgetting the stuff. Then things get awesome. He falls on the ground, landing directly on the claymore mine that she tossed out behind. He explodes in a fireball back into the lodge right as the missile impacts the lodge, and he is then blasted out into Johnny. At that time, the lodge explodes not only with the fireball, but with the monster leaping up and attacking the helicopter, which goes spinning down on top of Johnny and Truman until the pilot somehow catches it 2 feet above the, and the monster escapes.
Wait.
Yeah.
The helicopter is Luca's helicopter?
No, the helicopter is Gaius's,
Gaius's helicopter.
Yeah. The helicopter came and shot, but he didn't realize that Truman got blasted right back in to the thing and then shot out.
Holy...
So as organ music is playing and as the now even more scarred Truman Graves, who has taken true damage. So Truman is actually, he needs days to recover from this true damage, which is bad news.
Yeah.
As this
His full face mask is now only half.
Yeah, it's a half face mask, and there's arcane sigils from where a gun hit it. Listen, all kidding aside, it was really cool.
It
That's
was rad.
amazing.
That was a really cool thing.
Like, that was
Monster
like,
dice are amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
like
But-
this feels like something that would have happened in like a Demolition Man level action.
It
film.
felt
You know what I mean?
felt very 90s action sequence. It felt
Yeah.
very like you could hear him like screaming multiple times, like ah, ah, ah! Yeah, oh, it's good.
I
So
feel
good.
like the Countess is very upset because she knows Luca.
Oh, yeah. It seems like you might know the circles who would. Luca does seem to be someone who would be hired by. Here's the problem with Luca, because she's a mercenary. She is probably hired by many monster menageries. She's also hired by witches. Sometimes she's even hired by the hammers. But unlike, she might have even had hammer training. But unlike hammers who are like sworn to destroy monsters, like those Rosicrucians that Johnny Wright still thinks is behind all of this, and we know are not. That she, basically, she just goes to the highest bidder.
Do we know who this monster who got away? Do we know like what group he belongs to?
No one recognized him, but we can put some heads together about that. Because, oh, and I guess we did end with the final thing. You got a sample of his blood, Johnny Wright.
Yeah.
But then,
Good job.
as he went back, Gaius says it looks like he is returning. He is heading in the direction of the city. Which means he's going back to your turf. So once again, there's been a ravaging in your turf. So the point is, that is where we
Countess
left
is
off.
devastated that Luca did something so cool.
Yeah. Well, Countess. Well, we will. I guess. Yeah. You know what? Tell you what. Because the other thing that was so great about last week is that it wound up being it involved helicopters, and that's just so important. Let's go ahead and get into this episode as. As the helicopter flies back, the now kind of like damaged helicopter lands. We're gonna do a bit of hand waving here, Johnny and Truman. Unless you guys would have fully objected to this plan. You didn't get any trace from the sky, seeing the direction, knowing Truman was beaten, knowing you have more stuff to do. You guys just went back to your headquarters, landing the damaged big petroleum helicopter. Harrison's still at the controls. Truman?
Well, Truman would have acquiesced eventually, but he definitely would have preferred to just go searching for Luca.
I think Truman, Truman will say, given your, you know what, given that you were true damage and you'd taken your max normal damage, we will say that you probably did pass out. So the decision was made out of your,
Fuck!
yeah, the decision was made without your, yeah.
Don't approve, but what can I do except stoke the fires of vengeance
Indeed.
for another time?
I'd like to wake up Truman with my the toe of my boot on his cheek.
Perfect. So yes, we'll basically, you guys land just as you see is it Rockland County? What's the...
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I love
Rockland
this idea that
County.
we're landing on the roof and seeing like Countess just like
Yeah,
arms crossed, waiting for us.
because she's been pulled out of a gala.
Yeah.
She was at a gala, so she's
I'm
come
wearing
here.
a gown. Okay?
She is wearing a gown.
gown.
Deputy Frazier, who is still under her metal control, is just standing there.
That's
There.
right.
Side note: you can fit so many helicopters on top of this roof. That's the main
Yeah.
thing. I just want to be clear.
I need to know, is the deputy in his deputy outfit or is he wearing a
he's in
tux
a
or something?
tux.
The deputy's
He's
in a
in a
tux. Boy,
Well,
and
with the
Deputy
badge
Frazier's
still,
never
right?
looked good. Yeah.
Yeah. with his-
And the hat, I would imagine, right? Or is it like a tux cowboy hat? Is it like black with like velvet felt on it or something?
with a little cummerbund on the hat.
All right. So the point is, yes, you may at this point, Countess will say that. Oh, and Gaius will conveniently say that he needs to go and fill out. He needs to handle stuff with the company and see what information he has. So he
Well,
will
he's got to make sure he's insulated against that family he's worried about.
basically, yes,
that.
that's really what he's doing. So as he goes to handle that business, Countess marches in as Truman. You kind of like move Truman off the helicopter, and Countess wakes him up with the boot. Johnny will say that you told Countess kind of many of those points of the recap. So let us now get into.
Did my health regenerate?
Yes, you do technically have your health back.
Just not the true damage yet.
Not the true damage. Yes. So I think. Yeah. You know, we're gonna do the charitable version of this. I think there may be something of once you start taking that real damage, you don't regenerate, but we're not gonna do that in this game. That's preposterous. We're gonna just we'll chill out. You know why? Because there's real time crunch going on here for fighting this thing. So yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
And sorry, I'm not bargaining here, but we did not get a 5th legacy, right? We've talked about it, but you have not granted it.
Ooh,
Got it.
Should we do a 5th legacy here?
What does a 5th legacy mean?
Well, I've been kind of handing out some just bonus powers, bonus abilities. They only started with 3, and we did 2. You know, after 2 sessions, you got 1. There's been 2 sessions.
Yeah.
We did have a fantastic thing. It seems like something we should have done not on stream, but tell you what. Go ahead and pick another legacy. We won't. If there's one you want, we'll find a means of upgrading your legacies based on what has happened here over the course of it. So look at legacies, and I can make recommendations, etc. If you haven't had a chance to read through the entire rule book of this nonsense. We can.
I would think intelligence or stealth for me.
Ooh. Well. Then yes, there's one called Move in Shadow that is for your Shadow and Gaze legacy. That would be very appropriate.
I see. It's these guys. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna all get a 5th one of those here in a little bit, but for now, let's focus on next moves.
Amazing.
All right, Truman, you stand, or
you
do I need to
guys
carry
came back
you?
here instead of following the monster?
Oh, we lost track of it. We tried to follow it, but we couldn't find it from the air. Not sure where it went. But I
There's no
didn't get
need
some
for you
of
to
its-
carry me.
Do you have its blood sample? Can we run the sample?
And I'm hoping we can maybe figure something out about it, or at least use this to track it later.
Can I smell his blood?
Ooh, absolutely you can.
Yeah.
Let's
That's
see.
that part of the reason I asked is because the one I had planned is heightened senses.
Certainly.
That's part of the reason I grabbed the blood.
So you'll be able to do some tracking with that. That's very clever. Countess, given your I think given your kind of let's have you make. I think I'm gonna have this be stamina and perception. So roll 5 d10s.
Okay.
Yes. Let's see if you kind of. This is a more blood to kind of like, or maybe you take a sip of it and swish it around.
Oh,
like
right,
a wine
because
tasting and,
you're a not vampire.
Yeah. Vampire.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sadly, that
3,
is
4, 5. So no straights work in this one.
straights don't do anything cool in this one, sadly.
Darn it!
And
I
not
thought
only
was
that,
cool.
that is you are just you've run the straight and not even hit 1 success. So
I'm
we'll
like,
say
"Bah,
Countess,
it's
basically
terrible."
you taste it and it has a little it's a little too intermingled with with helicopter fuel. So you kind of it does not reveal anything to you, sadly.
Okay.
But Johnny certainly wants to maybe try to use this to sense it and maybe see what other information they can do. But Gaius will go off and so Gaius may provide you guys with some intel from what he's doing. He's kind of just going to go do an intel thing here. But Truman, you are now that you've been awakened and you have healed sort of like your body, even though you feel a deeper. Well, actually, Truman, you probably feel 2 deep pains within you. One of them being one of them being the true damage that you took when your body was so rattled by those things, but the other just being how this Luca and how she has defeated you in this. You know what? Though before this happens, I guess we should, Anna. Let's see if you want to join the club of this. Let's go ahead, because I assume the Countess is very mad about this, and I've done this for the others whenever there's been ravagings. And since you weren't there, I would like for you to make a composure roll. So you only roll 3 dice. And you are looking for at least 1 success here, because otherwise you are going to get some of that rage we were talking about.
0, 6, 7.
0
10.
is a success. So that is
it's a 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a 10. So the 0 is a success, so actually roll that die
What am I
again.
trying to roll?
So you want 8, 9, or 10? 0.
That's right. Thank you.
So go ahead and roll that 10 again, because whenever you roll that, it explodes. And you get to re-roll it. So you might have 2 successes.
1.
1. So you have 1 success, but to avoid rage, you typically only need 1 success. Great. So you do wake him up and you're angry, but you don't take any rage over this. Truman, however, I assume is still in quite a rage, and now that you see you're back in the city and Lucas Trail is well cold.
I stomp back into the whatever the room is that we have, and I start automatically. I open up the full panel of computer network that is on the table, and so I have all my things out here, and I'm ordering my helicopter to bring me 2 additional of my very tiny PDF laptop cell phone.
Sure.
I want 2 more of those delivered immediately. And then I'm looking up everything I can on Luca. Just all I care about is her.
Love it. All right, so you are going to do some Luca lookups. Johnny and Countess, what are your moves now? You understand that there is a Ravaging monster. You've seen it in action. It is definitely in your orbit. It seems to be coming back toward the city. Obviously, Johnny, you have some theories about what caused it, being the Hammers lured it in, the Rosicrucians, they did this stuff. Countess, you heard those theories, but I don't know that you landed on either side, because basically Johnny said all that, Gaius said that makes sense also. My source who saw the person go in with them might not know what a flower is. That's what if you guys recall, that's what Gaius said. And Truman earlier was thinking that maybe it was I call it the Nethermost Committee. You know, the Nethermost Committee. Also called the Under Menagerie. Also called those below. The point is, he thinks they're actually responsible. But now he doesn't care about that because he apparently he only has eyes for Luca. And this will be yet another... Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Can I say I put 10% of effort into this into the conspiracy of the Nethermost Committee and the monster ravaging, but 90% of my energy is still towards Luca.
It is Luca.
I'm very interested in the Nethermost Committee.
Understood. So
do we know where they're based out of?
They are based in the old world. They are based in Europe, as all shadowy organizations ultimately.
So they don't even have an office in the Bronx?
They have offices everywhere, and you, technically speaking, as the Empire Menagerie, we are an office. Subsidiary of theirs. You are it's like, kind of like they're the boss below everything. You guys are sort of you get to run New York, but only if you do certain things, and now that there's been a ravaging, you guys are in trouble. 1994.
So I would like to then go to one of the landlines.
Oh, please.
And I would like to call basically whoever my lieutenants are.
Sure.
And I want to get patrols basically in the direction I feel like he was heading towards town. I want just patrols on the streets in those neighborhoods it would encounter.
Okay.
Giving them a description. They can page me if they can page me if they
can page him. Okay, Johnny, that will be an easy one to resolve, so let's just do that. Go ahead and give me. This is going to be manipulation and threaten, I would imagine, unless you think you're using something else.
Would this be any of my criminal sphere prowess?
Sure, this can absolutely be your crime skill rather than your threaten skill. But I think it is probably manipulation, which I see is not great for you.
That's fine. That's fine then.
Unless you think you're not threatening. If you think you're being sweet about it, then you can do charisma. Charisma?
I mean, I think it's just I would just be giving. I don't think I'd be like barking orders.
Tell you what, do intelligence. We'll sort of split the difference mathematically.
Sure.
It's just the plan in your mind.
Yeah.
And you do get to re-roll 3 of those for free, before
Wow.
you even re-roll them with willpower.
Wow. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just like Anna did.
Okay,
That's
That's the
wild.
trend.
We're having the just under straights. Here we go. Go ahead and re-roll 3 of those for free because that's what your criminal sphere allows you to do.
right. Okay, so there's 1 success there.
Okay.
I'm going to use my willpower to re-roll the remaining 2, right?
I
'Cause you can't
think that is different, so I think you can re-roll 3 with your willpower.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And you'll only be charged it if one of them is a success.
1 is a success, so there's
Great.
2 9s in there, so that's 2 successes.
So yeah, you spend some willpower to kind of like really like think about it. You're having people looking out in the right neighborhoods. And you will get a page. All right. So Countess.
So that's kind of what I wanted to do too. And I feel like we were up kind of like in Connecticut, right? That's where we were.
You were in kind of like Nyack, Harriman State Park. You were up like just out of the city.
I feel like, yeah, I wanna contact whatever contacts that I have to kind of put up sentinels around the northern area.
Okay.
The Bronx down to the north of Manhattan.
Okay, sounds good. Go ahead and let's have you. I don't think your culture thing will really fit into this quite as much. But I'm being so stupid. Why don't you roll a manipulation and charm against your hypnotized person? He will do whatever you say, but if you get some, so that's that will be a total of 4 dice. So you could put an APB out through the Rockland
What's his name?
County.
Frazier?
This is Deputy Frazier, yeah.
Deputy.
Yeah.
Oh, 9.
Deputy.
Wonderful.
Single success.
Single success. He's already charmed. You're just kind of like, he's gonna do even better on with some things. So yes. So what do you tell him? Just to.
I'm gonna need you to call the boys out of the get them out of the donut shops and get them into their posts.
We do spend a lot of time in donut shops. I will
do.
put everyone on alert. We're already on alert because of the gas explosion. But if there's a suspect, if you're saying that
We're not worried about the gas explosion.
we're not worried about the gas explosion. We now have a
No,
suspect.
no,
Is that what
no.
you're telling me?
We do have a suspect.
Okay.
We're looking for him
Okay.
in the northern part of the city, the
Understood.
upper borough.
He puts in a call to his team, calling out APBs. Okay, great. He does that. So that means Truman. You're
Yes.
looking up Luca. So,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, let's put on our hacking caps. Step 1. Go ahead and activate your mask to have like cool, but as you begin hacking the mainframe, let's just. I think this is going to be a full-on intelligence meets your tech sphere. Let's just get
Okay.
into hyperspace and cyberspace, and you have one purpose and one purpose only: to find out about Luca. You haven't. Okay, fine. You have 90. If you have 10 purposes, 9 of them are to find out about Luca, and 1 of them is to find out about the Ravaging and the Empire Menagerie.
Yes.
Okay.
I have
if you
10
have-
dice.
What's that?
I have 10 dice.
Perfect. That's what it is. If you have 10 successes, 1 of them can go towards that. Yeah.
Just
Yes,
real
Johnny?
quick question.
Yeah.
How is it that in Star Wars it's not called cyberspace?
Because, and I'll tell you why it's not called cyberspace. Because no one came up with that until well after they'd said hyperspace.
No, I don't mean like. I mean for like the internet that exists. Like it's just called like a network. All right.
The HoloNet.
The HoloNet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like cyberspace is way better.
Much better. Truman, how did we do, man? Did
All
you
right, hold
roll
on, I
a
got to
1? Did you roll a 1 on one of your rage dice? Because oh my god.
No.
Okay.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I've rolled 5 successes, and I get to re-roll 5 other dice. Now, here's a question for you.
Yes.
One of the non-successes was a rage die.
You
If I
cannot ever
re-roll
re-roll.
that-
You can never re-roll rage dice.
All right, understood.
Yeah.
All right, 2 more successes. That's 7 successes.
7 successes. Truman
Wow.
Graves is obsessed. Truman, with 7 successes, contrary to the joking thing I was saying. So yes, you can absolutely do some looking into this person. Okay. With that, I actually need to roll. I'm gonna roll a d10 just on a couple of points to see just.
Oh wait, hold on. I need a good quote before I.
Oh
jump
yeah.
into this,
Give me.
Yeah. No one ever sees the angel, but he is heard by those who are meant to hear him.
Okay.
Oh my god. What? I love it.
Okay. Here is what you find out about Luca. And what's fun about this is that for a moment, there might even be a there might be a moment in which you actually start to wonder if everything Gaius was saying was true about the connections, because you don't know about those specific witches who hired Luca. But Luca Saint Delacroix is her name. Is a well-known mercenary. In your circles. She is from, what are those Swiss? There's a weird name for the states in Switzerland, right? Cantons. She's from some Swiss canton, okay? I'm not going to tell you which canton it's from. Okay, I'll tell you. Most affluent Swiss canton. Zug und Schweiz? Zug. Okay, she's from Zug. Fair enough. Z-U-G. So, she is a well-known figure in these circles. Something very disturbing that you notice is that she is, as you suspected, she has trained with the Hammers, but she is not a member of the Order. But with all of these successes, you're getting a lot of very good, deep web biographical information on her. And there's some fun stuff here. She is connected. The Hammer Order that she trained with but is not a part of is the Rosicrucians.
Oh.
However, she has not been a part of that order for a while. She has taken many contracts, some simply for mundane people who want assassinations or protection. She does typical bodyguarding work. But not only has she worked, she's often hired by witches to give them some muscle in circumstances. You find evidence, and you find some grainy pictures of her working with the Nethermost Committee of the Under Menagerie.
Oh boy.
She has taken jobs for the monsters before. Not only for monsters. Not only for the chocolate menagerie, which I guess is what maybe the one in Switzerland would be, but no,
the one in Atlanta.
Never mind. That's the one in Atlanta. The chocolate menagerie is Atlanta. We'll say the clockmakers. It's the clockmakers menagerie.
The cuckoo menagerie.
Could be the cuckoo. But we'll say the clockmakers menagerie in Switzerland. In Bern. What city in Switzerland should they be based?
Yeah, Bern's good.
Bern's good.
Interlaken.
I do like Interlaken. She's all. I mean, they believe me. They're all over.
Oh no! It's the Clockwork Menagerie. It has to be an Interlaken.
Okay, guys, that's pretty good. That doesn't. Those are Locken like lakes, even though that is where the Scottish get lost. But it really does work in well. But she also did Truman work for the Chocolate Menagerie in Atlanta, as per that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, damn right.
You got to.
All right. So, oh my god. In any event, your research into her indicates, and you can ask some very specific questions, but what you are seeing is she is one of the most highly priced, exclusive type mercenary bodyguards around. And she has ties to your bosses. That's the main upshot. But with all those levels of success, please ask many more questions, because 7 successes, oh my god.
All right.
You can get some more info.
First question I have is, was there any evidence of a rose at the, like, can I go through my memory palace of the cabin, and were there any roses there or about her person or anything that would suggest as such?
She had no roses on her.
Okay.
And
second question.
I think I'll even say, I'll even sort of to piggyback on that. She was trained with Rosicrucians. With one of your 7 successes went to something where she had a very bad break with them. She killed 2 hammers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Write that down. Then the other question is this is more about the. I'm gonna take that jumping off point.
Please.
And work on the under menagerie part of it. Clearly they hire outside contractors. Clearly.
They do. I think that let's have your hacking be. Let's have you really exposing some stuff. They would never say they would. They would say they're powerful enough to never need to. But you see a picture of her providing security in Interlaken.
Yeah.
You even see her providing security in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So not only does the under menagerie, just the other menageries do.
Yeah.
The Clockwork Menagerie.
Question I have though about that is, are the rumors, tales told between menagerie members of the under menagerie provoking branches or eliminating branches, or like anything that would point to the fact that it's the under menagerie that instigated this incident?
Understood.
I know it's a string off of looking at her.
You had
but
7
I'm wondering,
successes. We can kind of do some stuff. I'm now going to roll a. This is my equivalent of my sort of like not luck roll, but kind of determining. Okay, there is an instance of another menagerie being sort of like devolved and shut down by the under menagerie for stuff that a lot of people said wasn't really their fault. Okay, that happened in Madrid. As far as you, and this is like, some of these are probably rumors you'd even heard before, but as you're sort of going into this, there was a succession problem in Madrid because they, like many of the European menageries, sort of, you guys, in a very typical American fashion, you don't really have a chair among your menagerie. Just all the strong monsters are kind of the council of the Empire Menagerie, and you guys just kind of handle your own affairs. Some of the European ones wind up having sort of, like a head monster. There was a succession crisis in Madrid, and the Under Menagerie seemingly encouraged a very brutal fight between the monsters vying for that wiped them all out. And a lot of people said they even killed the top guy to do that in the first place. A very different situation. There was no ravaging in that. This seemed much more just political and it's rumors are they just were sort of doing that to kind of like sort of clear out a bunch of people who weren't quite doing what they wanted, pulling weight, etc. That would have happened in like the late 80s, so a few years ago.
Okay. I do have to ask what menagerie are they? What's their name in Madrid? I feel like that's important.
Yep.
Is it like the Paella group, or
no? They are
the Toros.
I was thinking they might be the Toros, but I think they were the Oso y Madrono menagerie.
Oso y Madrono.
Oso y Madrono.
Bear and...
It's apparently the official symbol of Madrid is the bear and the strawberry tree. That's what I just saw.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, these are being very carefully considered names, after all worked out well in advance.
Of course. Interesting.
Yeah.
Why would they do that? What's the reason? Just to clear the clutter?
The rumors that you see are that it was, I mean, it's like typical, just, like they're not pulling their weight. We want to take them all out, but we want our sort of hands kept clean from it. So, because, like, the Under Menagerie has never outright just, like, replaced a menagerie before. But in this case, they didn't like what was going on in España. So they, as far as you can tell, manipulated some events to make this happen. And they then brought in outside monsters to run Madrid. And that is where the problem is. The monsters who ran Madrid, and that was kind of the bigger picture problem.
All right, last question then.
Yeah, but hold on. I have this Madrid thing is turning into a thing. So I'm gonna. Yep. Okay. So that happened, and a 10. Oh my God, that happened. Truman. Here's what's interesting about what happened to El Oso y El Madrono Menagerie. 2 of the proxies that the Under Menagerie seemed to use for that was a coven of witches and a mercenary named Lucas Saint Delacroix. She, in fact, killed the head monster and set the whole thing off.
Okay.
You don't think it's the witches you encountered? Also, with all your successes, you are thinking that Gaius probably was wrong. Those were not well-connected witches. They probably were wealthy just because they had her there, but they were not super well-connected. But there are real witches, and some of them probably helped in Madrid.
Okay. I have one last question then.
Please.
Off of all of this.
Oh my God, this Madrid thing is huge. We're gonna have to go to Madrid, you guys. The answers are in Madrid. And maybe in Barcelona.
Is massive.
Fire up the intercontinental helicopter.
What we're gonna have to do,
helicopter jet going.
We have to go by helicopters. What we need are a series of boats with helicopters on them that we can transfer to new helicopters as we go.
Well, we just hop from oil platform to oil platform, right?
All the way
across the Atlantic.
Yeah.
And the Countess is going to stop in the Canary Islands with Deputy Fraser for a minute. You guys do that.
Little mini vacation.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Oh my God.
Last question. Last question I have. I would like to find any connections to takeover Madrid and current New York City. So to see if the motive lines up, there would be any kind of cross pattern. The thing that still eludes me is why. The how makes sense, but the why.
Could we just real quick have a little interlude with the Countess trying to go over and shake Truman and be like,
Sure.
You need to let it go about Madrid. Madrid is done. It's over.
Not done.
She smacks him.
Over? Oh, you think it's over? Madrid is the beginning. It's the tip of the iceberg. It only goes deeper. You only see the surface layer, but you don't understand what's beneath that. Madrid was the start of it all. Don't you understand?
I know what happened in Madrid. Her voice gets so deep. I know what happened in Madrid.
You only think you know what happened. The real
I
truth
think I know what
can't
happened
handle.
in Madrid. Are you
Wait,
making me doubt myself and knowing what happened in Madrid? What happened in Madrid? What do you think? You tell me what you think happened in Madrid, and then I'll tell you what I think happened in Madrid.
Sit down. This is going to, knock you out of your heels.
I'll
This
sit
one
down
here.
if you sit down.
I'm already sitting down, but I'll sit.
Okay.
You know what I'll do instead? I'll fumbles with the chair.
I
gonna-
think
I'll
You're gonna
raise my seat
re-injure
up. That's what
yourself,
I'll do.
Truman.
I feel like this is gonna take a while.
Get a hold
I
of
think-
yourself.
I think Mama Hong's
on.
is still open. You guys want some Chinese?
Let me put this on the
Absolutely.
screen. And Truman starts tapping, and like everything starts going on the screen, very conspiratorial style.
Windows 95 little
He gives a
animations.
full CIA briefing from Born Identity.
Yeah.
Yep. He's like, okay, first there was Madrid. We all understand that. There've been rumors going around that Madrid was actually taken down by the Menagerie. Well, my research says that's not just rumor. Truth. Because they had also a Madrono was doing fine, so it seemed on the surface. But the Menagerie, they sensed a problem. To deal with that problem, they had to get rid of the head. That they did. Using who? Our old friend, Luca Saint Delacroix. Qua. Roy. Whatever.
Qua. It's Qua, dog.
Wait.
Qua.
Who is that?
The bitch that blew me up. Do you not remember?
Well,
Yeah,
we
the
didn't
one
do
with
any
the guns.
introductions. I didn't do any
Her
introductions.
name, well, I heard her. She said her name was Luca. Maybe she just said it loud enough for me to hear. You were too busy dealing with some fucking witches, some piece of shit witches. Who cares about them? Luca is the key to it all. Don't you understand?
So she's part of the
He was
Hammers.
there. She was there. She killed that head. Yeah, she is part of the Hammers, but she actually killed 2 Hammers. She's no longer a part of them, but she's trained by them. That's why she's so tough. See, also, plausible deniability for the Menagerie. They don't have to, they could easily say, oh, that's just a hammer because she has some faint ties there. But no, that's just on the surface. Underneath it all, she's been working for the Menagerie for years. He puts up pictures of the Chocolate Menagerie and the Clockwork Menagerie. She's been working for them in secret as security. And from time to time, shot of her from Spain, he works undercover for them to kill those that get too big for the riches. So what happened when the head left? Of course, the sides separated, had to fight each other. There wasn't a succession war. Did the Menagerie choose sides? Oh, yes, they did. Both sides, funding each side, one pitted against the other, so they killed each other and brought themselves down till there was nothing left. So what could they do but fill in the void that was left, and also I Madrono? What did they fill it with? Oh, yes, that's right, your old friends, witches. All comes back around, my friend. What do we have here? Pretense to make us fight and start losing our members. Luca Lacroix, who is there to kill out anyone who gets in the Menagerie's way. And last but not least, the witches, to hold control until they can instill the power base that they want.
So, Truman.
It's not the Hammers that we need to be
Truman, I'm
afraid
gonna
of.
give you
I'm
going to give you one more
yeah.
pièce de résistance bit of information here to throw on. Because you asked about the connections between pre-takeover Madrid and current New York City situation. I will say that in a vacuum, in many ways, there are no connections. The situation here, you guys had been doing perfectly fine. Madrid had been kind of chaotic and weird for a while. So it's like, that doesn't really fit. But yes, the witches were involved in all of this. The witches seem to, and they wound up bringing in monsters from all over the world to run Madrid. Witches were like handling things for them in a weird cooperative thing. But guess the name of one of the monsters who came from England to be one of the council members running Madrid. A gentleman you've seen this very night named Lazareth. Before his demotion, which in this is cool because down is good, before his demotion to the Under Menagerie, he was a council member in the newly formed Osso y Madrono Menagerie.
You think this is all just coincidence, right? You go, oh, Luca, coincidence. Witches, coincidence. You know, this ravaging, coincidence. I could see that. Yeah. Here's the thing. Who did they install in the new Osso y Madrono? Who was originally council member of the Under Menagerie? And who has visited us this very night to introduce all of these suspiciously well-informed incidents? Lazarus. This is no coincidence, my friends. We are not at war with witches. We are not at war with the hammers. It is not this ravaging that we need to be concerned with. No. We are being attacked from the inside by the Under Menagerie itself.
So what I hear...
And like with that, he slams his hand and this big organ music plays.
What I hear is I'm going to need to seduce both Luca and Lazarus.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
But if my research is not flawed, which it is of course not, Lazarus is going to prove a tough customer, and he's not the only one we need to be concerned with. He may be the tip of the spear, or the hast, or maybe the shield behind it. I don't know. But the whole point is, even if he's a part of this, there's still the rest of the menagerie. He is not creating these orders by himself. At least, I think so. Our best case scenario is he is acting independently.
One thing I'd like to do here, and this actually is culture, not even it's your general culture. Countess, I'd like you to make a culture intelligence roll. So you get your 5 from culture and your 1 from intelligence. So you can basically roll, you can roll 6 dice here.
Oh, triple success, triple tens.
Triple tens? Roll all of them again, because they all explode.
Another 10.
Another 10, roll that one again, so you're at 4.
8.
5 successes. So Countess, he brings this up. Yes, seducing Luca and Lazarus makes some sense, and you heard this, Lazarus, but you have a sudden realization about Lazarus that makes seducing him perhaps difficult, or perhaps a challenge worthy of your skills. You see, Lazarus and you share a lineage. You are both creatures of the night. You are both shadow and gaze, who sort of can corrupt the mind and move in the dark and drain the lives of your victims. So I'm going to say with 5 successes, you certainly are aware of him as kind of a European sort of fancy.
Are we cousins or brother sister? Like how related?
If you are cool
daughter?
with this,
Ew.
if you're cool with this, let's say, actually roll a d10.
What degree of cousin is okay?
9.
9. Here's what we'll say. You and Lazarus were created by the same monster. You,
All right.
to whatever degree you are, although, your memories, you can't fully remember. Are you the vampire? Or that thing that people would refer to as a vampire because they're so small-minded? Or are you some human who has, it's so complicated, no one could know, but that's for another time. The point is, You and Lazarus share a sire. You and Lazarus share a creator. I'm gonna allow you, however, to sort of dictate the nature of that, because I know that the Countess, you have some concepts for the Countess, so who do you think would have made the Countess a not vampire? A vampire-esque thing.
A Nosferatu?
A Nosferatu? Yeah.
Probably one of the former mayors.
A former mayor? Wow. Okay, understood. A mayor of New York?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So there was. All right. So let's.
She thought she was sleeping her way to the top.
Okay, so there was a.
Bloomberg.
It's 94, so it's like you got to go to like the Ed Koch chair. Like, hold on. LaGuardia.
It would be after Koch. Who was 94?
It was. Wasn't it Giuliani in 94? Did he not?
Yeah,
say
it's
later?
Giuliani.
Yeah. It's not. Giuliani is. He is a vampire.
That's amazing. It's Giuliani.
Oh.
Giuliani made it.
I think though we'll say. I think we can say. Well, what decade do you think you were made a vampire?
You could be old.
You could be old.
That's true.
Ooh, yeah. Let's do that. Let's go more Tammany Hall style situation.
Is it Bill the Butcher?
Yeah. 5 fingers make a. Okay, so yeah, we will say.
We can go full on. It was like the 1910s.
Okay, so we'll wind up we'll have a fictional person in that case for that.
Yeah. So she's been a vampire, not a vampire, for 80-ish years at this point. But she's not super ancient, but she's not.
Oh, it should be.
Brand new either.
Should be. I mean, he could have been a vampire like after that. Like, it's Boss Tweed. That's what's fun to me. Let's have it
that's good.
Straight up Boss Tweed. Was it? So basically, we'll just call him like Mr. Tweed was the vampire who turned both.
Okay.
Lazarus is older than you, however. So Lazarus, but you sort of share that kinship.
Okay.
There you go. And you do know Lazarus to be a kind of like highfalutin. We'll also say Mr. Tweed is now. Oh, it's all coming together. Mr. Tweed on the Nethermost Committee.
Sure. Very nice.
And apparently he's been promoting Lazarus because Lazarus now works directly for the Empire Menagerie. Guys, God, this game is getting broken wide open now that we're deciding things about it.
That's infuriating to me.
It is infuriating. Yes, absolutely.
He's older than me, but he's an idiot.
Seems surprisingly well informed when he was here earlier.
He is so well informed, dum-dum.
Wait. How long does it take to take a helicopter from that church back to here? 40 minutes?
Not even. If you're asking if Lazarus could have been present
25.
for the Ravaging and gotten back, the answer is easily.
I would bet what's left of my mask that he was the one that was there, instigating things, and that Luca was attempting. Of course, they were empowering the witches with Luca there so that they could come in and clean up whatever needed to be cleaned up after this ravaging. Us not being able to figure out who was behind it would have been the perfect excuse to have us removed. Then he could have taken claim to our city.
But, well, 2 things I see here. One, I'm not. Why would he want our city? He's already below us. So he would be wanting to put someone here. He already has more power than we do. So he would be wanting to put someone in control of this city. Who would that be is the question, I think. But
the motivations are still a little murky.
Yeah. The other thing is that we can't ignore this ravaging because we can't give them pretense to come in. So if that is that is what they're trying to use because they don't think we can stop it, then we stop it. And we maintain control here. But I don't think it, because if Luca and Lazarus are operating on their own, stopping this at least gives us the rest of the Nethermost Council
Committee
on our side.
As Truman thinks about that and realizes that Johnny's right, and Truman try to relieve part of his rage by destroying his computer setup.
Yes, but Truman, I will tell you that if you do this, and you should do this, this won't work if you simply destroy some backups. You will be you will be in a rage destroying hard drives that are irreplaceable. We're talking about megabytes of data here, guys.
I think it'd be a full-on gig by the time he's done.
God, if he destroys a gig, and this time, it's awful. You know how many zip disks this is? Yes, Truman, you absolutely that is worthy of an act of destruction. You may.
That's what he does.
So go ahead. You don't even need to roll the you don't even need to roll like the physical attack, because if there's anyone who knows how to destroy tech, it's you. So simply go ahead, and as you do your act of destruction, you can do a resolve roll, and often it's detect vibe. Although if you'd rather, you know what? I'll let you use a weapons combat on it though. So there you go. You can shoot it up if you want to.
Yeah, we'll do that. Six successes.
Successes. Okay.
All right. All right, Truman. Because it's 6 successes.
That means less damage, right? That's how that one works. In reverse.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna let you split that into 2 full successes, so you may clear both of your rage.
Right. Thank you.
Because you also now have you've destroyed your database.
I've shredded it.
Yeah.
I've fried all the circuitry within the entire building. This does not. Johnny, if you go on a rampage outside of here, I cannot help you out of this one. At least 24 hours.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Right. What's our plan of action? We have to find the Ravaging. Stop it again.
Yeah.
Or I guess technically the first time, but still.
Yeah, we have to stop this ravaging, and chances are, I imagine that if what you say is true, and I'm not questioning you, it all lines up in my mind, then I imagine we will run into one, if not both of them, along the way. I've got my people patrolling the neighborhoods. They'll page me if they see anything. I don't know if you want it. Well, gonna be hard now, but I was gonna say maybe if you would check the video feeds, but
yeah.
It's all right. Well, we'll just have to rely on
Next time.
on our underlings. Do you have any underlings? Do you have networks beyond computer that you could start to task?
Not that they know.
Baller. That's cool.
Well,
I have multiple personas I interact with people with via voice or
I suppose we could.
email.
Well, there are 3 of us here.
Oh,
There are three helicopters here. We
I think
could.
there's technically 4. Because
Because we did add one.
Because you've
we add
you've
one.
also brought in the Rockland County Sheriff Department helicopter.
Right.
Yeah.
We could all individually just go and just try to patrol from the air, trying to locate this creature, and then we just sort of contact each other if we find anything.
Why don't you two start off on that? I'm gonna wait for my backup tablet to arrive,
Yeah.
and then I'll follow.
All right.
I'll crack open the test tube of blood and take a sniff. Still add that to my memory if you want to take any of these with you.
Really should have looked at that in the computer system first.
And in fact,
Fine.
let's go ahead and say that it is at this time. Everyone may add a new legacy to their plan.
Hell yeah.
Because perhaps Countess will say that sort of given your jealousy of Lazareth and knowing that, because what's cool here, Countess, is you will now have all 3 of the Shadow and Gaze legacies by taking this, so you're basically you're entirely able to you're kind of max vampire, which Lazareth certainly is. So I'll read yours to you as they're looking up theirs. You are gaining something called Move in Shadow. What this means is you may expend 1 willpower to ethereally teleport from within one shadowy space to another shadowy space you can see. Very Shadow Monk from D&D vibes. You can, however, also bring other creatures with you. You will be gaining a new skill for this, and you'll get 3 points in it. And if you wanted to move points from other things, you're welcome to do so. But basically, you get to do Move, for which you have resolve and move in shadow. So you get to roll 6 dice to do this, and you can, every success you get, that's 1 more person you can bring with you. So like theoretically you could bring like 6 people if you have a lot of success.
But is it like Misty Step where you're only moving from like in the same shadowy area, or is it like a plane shift sort of?
It is not plane shift. I would also allow high successes to let you go like really far, but it's bound by sight.
Okay.
So I would say from a New York City skyscraper, you could go to, that shadowy alley to you go pretty darn far if you wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that is now on yours. So I know, Pierce, you said you're going to be taking the heightened senses, which for those checking this out, yeah, go ahead and read it. Yeah.
You have superhuman senses, allowing you to see, hear, smell, taste, and touch at a higher level. Whenever rolling perception, you can re-roll a number of dice from your pool less than or equal to your perception score without expending willpower 1 time for each roll, and you cannot suffer dramatic, spectacular, or monstrous failures for this skill.
Which is a huge deal.
So
I'm also gonna
four.
repaste this in for you, by the way, because I can paste it from the actual.
Thank you.
What's it called, document, rather than the
Thank
PDF.
you.
Yep. But also just you can't even get a monstrous failure on it, even if you roll a 1 on your rage. It's like, nope, sorry, I'm smelling good.
Yeah.
Gaius, I don't know which one he'll take, but this is not. We should pick one for Ka. He just gets one. He doesn't get to pick.
Yeah.
No. I would actually let me look up what the last Finn and Gil. You guys all know that he's a Finn and Gil. I don't know that your characters are aware that he is his lineage is Finn and Gil. He's basically like he's kind of like some kind of sea monster made
like
human.
a merman.
Yeah, like a maybe a little creature Black Lagoon type guy sort of thing.
Okay.
Or maybe more of a, release the something kind of monster. He could take Creature of the Depths, which allows him to swim at a rapid pace and can breathe, see, and hear underwater as easily as he is in the air. He probably should just get that for free. He can also do Siren Song, which is kind of akin to what Countess can do, but it's much more of a he can lure people towards him irrevocably.
It does feel like, given how much he likes to manipulate and talk and present himself to CEO, it does feel like Siren Song
may wind up being the right
within
one.
his.
Truman, do you think you're taking a hideous and hidden, or are you going to take a more utility one, a more general one?
I I would like to take a hideous and hidden, but I don't think any of them really fit.
I mean, fearsome to behold
right
does
now.
Yeah, yeah. You're pretty crispy, my dude.
But yeah, you're thinking you'll take the evasive one.
I think I'm gonna take evasive.
Makes sense. Yeah. That just basically lets you that makes you very hard to kill when you're doing Eyes of the Beholder.
Luca kicked my ass before, and I think
you were rolling so bad.
Happened. That's so bad.
You
so
were rolling
horribly
so bad. She was like, I had a couple rolls for her. I was like, but like she was not even rolling crazy high, but it was bad.
I actually have a question
please,
for you. Because I was thinking about taking Envenom the Strike, where you get rage to deal true damage.
Yes, I know. Can you do that to bullets? You know what? Actually, hold on. For story-based reasons, because you have been shot with magical ammunition, I actually would allow it for you. The idea that you are going to try to put monstrous hate and energy into your bullets, that really is meant to be that you're, like making your claws deal true damage. But I guess I might allow it for you because you've been shot by that and you were so torn. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, let's do that. That sounds more fun.
So basically, as
let's take more rage. That's a win.
There we go. Yeah. You give yourself rage for it, right? Is that the deal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not the smartest thing, but we're gonna do it. Hey, why not?
Yeah.
YOLO.
YOLO.
We're here for a good time, not a long time, Judd.
Boy, is that true? Although this game has been so fun, we might run it a little longer than I was expecting. This is probably going into the new year a little bit at this point. What this like gets to 60?
Oh my god.
You mean this game that Jed just uncovered, just a multi-layered conspiracy that goes all the way to the bottom?
I'm just gonna say this goes
all the way to the bottom.
Yeah. I'm also gonna say that I just, as a like in terms of like peek behind the GMing thing, the storyteller thing. Here is what I love about all the stuff that we've come up with about El Oso y El Madrono Menagerie. Mm-hmm. Here's what I like about this. That's all new information to me that I just kind of did on the fly because you just went to research. And yet, it completely fits into everything that I did have planned. So it's whenever things are additive, like it's like, but it's kind of more. It's like it can replace a couple things, and it's much more fun and much more personal. Again, Luca, she was. Oh boy, this is great. So yeah. Great. And it is only one attack, which is rough, so you have to take rage every time you do it.
Yeah. Not great.
So, okay, well, so you guys have all gained new powers. You are going to go out sort of patrolling. Truman, did you want to do anything else while waiting, or you literally were just waiting?
I don't think like if Truman still had rage, he would destroy something else because like he's completely impotent without his technology. Like he can't, like, he's feeling very cut off.
You're just going to be handed a
but
thing.
I think he'll spend some more time thinking about the motivations and like the information he uncovered, because like he feels like there's something. If you're gonna take New York, you take it for a reason.
Indeed.
Why? Just like why would they take Madrid? Yeah. What didn't they like about what Madrid was doing?
That I think you have some clear understandings. The boss of Madrid was not sending enough tribute to the Under Menagerie. He was allowing too many weird things to happen. He was probably he was letting unauthorized monsters operate in certain places. There were some killings that the police were barely able to explain away. Some stuff. Like he was doing a very sloppy job. So it is kind of not surprising that they would want to do something about it. But rather than simply remove him or talk to him or whatever, they killed him, had his entire council destroy itself, and then brought in their own people. And so that's why that was considered like Like,
Okay.
yeah.
This is what I want to do then. What I want to do is there's no clear connection there, right? What I want to do is I want to prep the staff of our building so that they know, so that we have a code word or something where they can lock down the building and lock everyone inside if we need them locked inside.
Okay, I like it.
I think that's what we're gonna do.
This is specifically against Lazareth or against the Ravaging monsters in any.
Specifically against Lathereth. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to prep a trap for him if we need to.
Understood. Well, in that case, so Johnny, as you go up, you now have your heightened senses. Johnny, I would like for you to give me, as you sort of breathe in.
Oh, we're lock it the fuck down.
This is going to simply be a just see what is on the wind, see what you can gain. Typically, your perception will be using something more like wits or something, or maybe composure as you're kind of doing this, kind of figuring this out. But in this case, as you're standing up there breathing in the city from its heights, go ahead and do stamina plus perception.
Okay.
Let's see what you can smell. And you do gain, because of this cool thing, you can reroll 4 of these for free.
Yep.
Which is pretty nice.
All right. So that's...
And
yeah,
then,
okay.
And many more after that. That being said... Okay, Johnny, go ahead.
That's no successes so far.
Okay.
So we're gonna...
On 9?
On 9, I rolled a lot of 7s.
Perfect. Okay, because I was at... Well, okay, yeah. I wanted to say this earlier, but since you didn't roll any, we'll stick with it. I was going to say, however, rather than making the... I wasn't going to make you need more successes. I was going to raise the bar for success to catch a whiff of something in such a thing.
Oh, sure.
This. So for this roll, which you're going to get to re-roll 4 of them for free right now, so maybe we'll have some success. Yep. Let's say you do need... I want to say only 10s, but let's say 9s and 10s.
Okay. I mean, that's fine. If you want to go 10s, that's fine.
Let's say 9s and 10s.
Okay.
Because now you're going to roll so many 8s.
Well, only one of them was an 8, but more 7s. But we'll spend some willpower here to try to reroll. You can
attempt to spend willpower for 3 of those. Okay.
Okay, there is a 10.
Okay.
We'll explode that. That is just the 1 success there.
Okay. So you've spent that willpower. You could theoretically spend, or you can do that 2 more times since you had 9 dice.
I will do it 1 more time.
Okay.
No, I feel like that's a sign that I should stop.
Okay.
Yes.
You have 1 success. You smell on the wind, and we will say that there is a a north. The wind is coming in sort of from the northwest, sort of in the direction that you guys came. You do smell a hint of that blood on the wind moving in, but I will say, Johnny, you suspect that the blood is no longer as sort of potent and intense. You think that the person has transformed once again back into a more human shape.
Oh. Which, I'll, before, wait, am I doing this, like, in the helicopter, or am I
No, I think you're doing this, like you're on the helipad, you know, like it's...
That's what I'm hoping, yeah. That I'm, like,
shooting
leaning
up
off the side of the, like a Batman on gargoyle kind of pose.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I'll let these two, I'll say, I'm sort of getting a scent coming in off the wind the way we came, but it's faint, I think. It's no longer ravaging. It's probably reverted back. And then I'll describe, if I hadn't already, I'll describe to the Countess, just so you know what you're looking for. And I'll give them the description of what the being looked like when I pulled it out of the water, when we saw it lying there.
Cool. Well, when you pulled him out, it was but a man. But then you tossed into a frogman, and he ripped the frogman apart and turned around. Tell you what, Countess... Oh, no, you don't have lore, never mind. Johnny's the only person in this group with any lore, and he's got like 2. Lore, I should have had lore would be good. Also, the channel's called Long Lost Lore, so whenever you see lore, you should always. Anyway, the point being that as Johnny gives you this information, as Truman awaits sort of new tech and a new and new information, I think that is where we're going to call tonight's session
Okay.
to an end.
Oh, okay.
Just because this feels like a good stopping point if you guys are about to go do some stuff, and we had some very good information gathered and then delivered with total normalcy by Truman. And when next we meet, perhaps Gaius will come in with his own information to add to the pot.
If I was watching this movie in the 90s, I would be so impressed with the actor who played Truman that he memorized that monologue and did it all in one shot.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
We all agree on that, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I do really want to see
Appreciate that.
I really want to see the
And
Sam
it was just like a
Raimi version
slow
of this movie.
zoom
Yeah.
into his face.
He would be delivering it directly to camera, right?
Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah.
We're not in the shot at all.
No.
Right.
You start in the shot.
Yeah.
It pushes
Start
it
there.
pushes out, yeah.
And it comes in closer. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
What I think, I feel like the screen then is behind my head too. Things are going up as I'm talking. Do you see the things pop up?
Yeah,
But then
and
it's
I
still
think you're
coming
like
in closer?
clicking a
Yeah.
thing, but
But
you're
again, I
not
feel like-
looking. You're
but
not
it's-
gesturing. You're just clicking at every moment.
It's all like Windows 95, like transition, like.
Brings us to Madrid,
Yeah.
1984.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Madrid. This Madrid, guys, I'm so excited about Madrid. This has blown this whole thing wide open.
I know.
Madrid is massive.
I'll phrase it like this. You know what Madrid just did narratively? What Lucas Claymore did physically. Is that it just blew everything right back in. Well, thank you so much for watching. This game is a lot of fun. I'll go ahead and mention this as a general thing. I think I've even said this before. I will be traveling. I'll be sort of out of town for a while coming up here. We're still going to be running games, but there's going to be a couple nights where we miss them. I was planning on not doing a game tomorrow, but then because, Jed, you don't know what we're doing tomorrow. I'm actually kind of sorry because it was a thing you had, I'd chatted with you about. So please join us for tomorrow for the very first episode of Dreamland's Theater of the Mind, our sort of ongoing series of different shorter form kind of random shows we're going to do on Mondays here on out. The first of which is tentatively titled The Crafting House, in which we are going to be running a D&D 2024 game set in a bastion that we will be building tomorrow in our intro stream, in which it is a crew of crafters, just kind of like a workplace comedy game. They're just making some magical items for people. We're going to use all the new rules from the DMG that involve kind of specific crafting proficiencies mean you can make certain kinds of magic items. We have some fun for that. We also have had a vote going on in our Discord for what setting this will be in. I went through so many places that appeared in the Dreamlands and picked all the places where you could run a more traditional D&D game. Right now, the winning one is the Sorcersphere, which is a sort of like connected to the Top Flight world, kind of a magical world within that. But also Neverfar, a new one, is in the second place, and then there's a bunch in sort of like in a cluster below that. So I think Sorcersphere will probably be winning, but others are still in contention. I'll probably honor we kind of did like a ranked choice, or you could vote for a few different things every time. So we'll see what it is. But just to be rude to our Wednesday game, actually to be rude to them twice in the following sentence. One, I've decided to make that game that's a light-hearted crafting game a fairly high-level game. So I'm going to let them build fairly high-level characters. I just think that's kind of funny. And then also to be rude with the Wednesday game, Wednesday is off this coming week and probably the next week since it's the week before Thanksgiving. And we were unregrettably off this past Wednesday. So long pause on that, and they're still level 2. So anyway, yeah. But that's so join us for the Dreamlands Theater of the Mind tomorrow. On Friday night, we will be doing one of our Arkham, Massachusetts set Call of Cthulhu games. I think we landed on starting chronologically, so this first one will be back in Arkham Village in the 1600s, when some witch trials might be going on in a nearby town called Salem, that era. So we're really going back in time for that. So our first Call of Cthulhu game, this new thing we're going to be starting an Arkham game in January. Going to be a lot of fun. And then a week from tonight, we should be back with more monster Monster the Ravaging.
Indeed.
Fun times. Please go to our Discord to interact with us, our YouTube to watch old episodes, our wiki to see how these games intersect. Follow all of these wonderful players with all the wonderful things they do. Would anyone like to plug anything in particular? This was further away than I meant for it to be.
Yeah.
There's this.
Thank you.
Anybody want to plug any specific stuff they're up to?
I'm good, but
I'm good.
Understood.
Okay. I believe Tuesday,
Ooh.
Andrew and I will be continuing playing Dragon Age: The Veilguard, where we will critique and argue about it. I'm sure. And because Andrew thinks I am incredibly kind because I did not snap judgment about a game that's going to take 100 hours to play in the first hour. But
There you go.
and as for my man-zukasing, my I don't know why I put that emphasis in there, but
Very manly.
man-zukasing.
Man-zukas.
There was
Let me tell
only
you
one
about this
thing of
all-female
Manzukas
cast.
this week, and it was the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. That was some serious Zukas, if you ask me, babies.
But this
Maximum
recommendation
Zukas.
is driven entirely by Jed and his performance as Truman tonight. And I
Okay.
would recommend my favorite Jeff Nichols film, Take Shelter,
Oh, okay.
which is a movie about a man who is seeing apocalyptic visions that he's not sure are real or not, and not sure if he needs to put his family in a shelter or not. But it is an incredible performance by Michael Shannon.
Well, you get a lot of those from that gentleman, quite frankly.
True.
Well, very good. Well, on that note, thank you all for watching. This game is so much fun. Appreciate you all being here. We're having some silly fun, and we'll continue to do so. Join us next time. Until then, remember, in the 90s, no one can hear you leet. No one can hear you scream unless you type in all caps, because on the internet, that means screaming.